So it's all a bit surreal really, because this is it. Today, this is the day that Brisbane has flooded. This is the day that Brisbane is hit by the flood worse than 1974. And I'm in the western suburbs of Brisbane, and we're completely isolated now. I'll show you that. We'll go for a little drive in a minute. I'll show you how it started when we started to get blocked in yesterday around lunchtime. But today is, I believe, the day when the flood levels reach their peak. It may actually be tomorrow, being Thursday tomorrow. But I can't tell you that for sure because we've got a power cut. The power went off at about 3:05 in the morning, and it's not going to come on again apparently until tomorrow about 8 o'clock in the morning. So we have no news from anywhere. We don't know how bad it is. All we know is that we're stuck here in the western suburbs. Some low-lying areas are flooded, which means we can't get out. I'm fine, thankfully, because my house is on a bit of a hill. Helicopters keep flying over, checking for stranded people, who knows, I don't know. But the weather is the nicest it's been since Christmas Day.
So, back to yesterday when it was raining. There's only 3 roads out of the western suburbs. This is one of them. This is the Moggill Road. And at around 2 o'clock on Tuesday, as you can see, it started to get a little bit tricky to get through it. I can tell you that by tomorrow, this road will be between 2 and 3 metres under the water, and the 2 garden centres each side of the road, you couldn't see the roofs. So that's one of our routes out blocked. This is the Moggill Road, but further west, and this is another point that would soon be blocked. This is the second way out of the western suburbs. This leads to Ipswich, a big city that's already been flooded, and again the road's blocked, flooded. This time it's about 2 metres deep. The third way out is to use the Moggill ferry, but that hasn't worked for over a week, if not more. The river's running too fast at the moment, there's too much debris about, and the ferry just won't work in these conditions. This is the road that I live in. This is starting to flood over. It's still just about passable, but wait until you see what this looks like tomorrow. My wife had mentioned earlier that there'd been panic buying down at the supermarket, and as I'd realised how these roads were soon going to block us in, I phoned her and said perhaps you better get there yourself. Well, too late. Bread was all gone, and the fruit and veg completely stripped bare. There was a few bits and bobs in the meat counter, and if you wanted toilet rolls, well, this was the toilet roll section. And now the day of the flooding. It's not raining, I can see blue sky. That's for the first time since before Christmas, and I'm sure I'm going to be okay because my house is at the high end of the street at the top of a steep drive. This is the low point of my road. This is about 1 kilometre down the road, and that blue area is the roof of a house. And if we look a little further down the road, it does look more like a river. And on the right hand side that you can't see are probably 5 or 6 houses completely submerged. We have a shopping mall and a petrol station that serves the whole community, this now isolated community, and as you can see, it's also sunk. So by now we were totally isolated. Our electric had been cut off. We can't get access to any food. Any food we have got in the fridges is going to go rotten, and our mobile phones were running out of batteries, and strangely there was no rain. It was a beautiful day. I'm sure many of you have seen the shocking images of how flooding has devastated many parts of Queensland, but for us the flooding was a strangely gentle affair. It just crept in and then crept out again. That was another river or lake where you least expect it. This time someone turned up with a jet ski. A little bit tactless, I thought, but actually they were here to rescue a cat. Well, we didn't have electric, but my friend Ben did, so we went round his house for tea that evening. This is Ben's back garden. It used to have just a small dam in it. Now it has a large lake. And the neighbours decided to do a little bit of paddling. But as fast as these floods came, they went. The very next day, just 24 hours later, all of those floods that I showed you, they all started to recede. And some of them completely disappeared. Amazingly, the houses that were completely sunk at the end of my road, well, we're now going to have a quick drive through. Remember the blue roof that was completely submerged? Well, this is the same blue roof coming up now, just 24 hours later. Just take a look at this. There's how it was yesterday, the blue roof in the background, can you see it? And there's the blue roof today. And as we continue along this road, you'll see houses that you just couldn't see yesterday because they were completely submerged. That one was under. As you can see, the tidy up has begun. Another one that would have been completely under. Some people lost a lot in these floods here in western suburbs of Brisbane, but nobody lost their lives. There you go, that was Wednesday, remember? And 24 hours later, all clear. So, relatively speaking, I think we got off pretty lightly. Electricity came back this morning, the clean-up has already begun, and that's what we'll be doing over the coming months, is getting this place back to how it was.